We've got Sipho Hotstix Mabuse in studio with us this morning. This is a man who, for over 50 decades now, my goodness, over 50 decades, has shaped the sound of South African music through jazz, through Afrofusion, through pop, and
through what others call bubblegum.
Bubblegum.
Soweto soul music.
Soweto soul music. There's a lot, and I'm really looking forward to hanging out with you this morning, this hour. So thank you for coming through, Sipho.
Thank you, Clement.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
The last time I spoke to you was on this feature was in 2021. It was during COVID times.
Yes.
And we were not allowing people in studio, so all our interviews were online.
Yes, yes.
And I remember thinking, as soon as life goes back to normal, I need to bring you back into studio.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming through. Are you good?
Thank you. I'm very good.
You look so healthy. Like the young ones would say, what glow?
Well, it's us of us lead.
Give us a leader. I can't believe that you are, how old now? 76?
76, yeah.
76?
Yeah.
How does it feel to be 76?
Feels good.
Yeah?
Feels good, you know.
More wisdom.
It's a privilege, really, to get to that age because not many people get to that point. And, when you get to 70, you start cracking up and you start limping and going through all these things. You wake up in the morning, you feel all the clicks, and then you have to call your doctor, please come and give me a jab.
And you are nowhere near all of that.
Well, I do that sometimes. Sometimes I think, no, let me tackle it before it gets worse. Yeah.
That's good. But you look so good.
Thank you.
When I'm older.
You're running. I hear all the time that you're preparing yourself for this marathon. And as I walked in, I could see that you're limping. The first question I asked, how are you going to run your comrades?
I'll be fine. I'll be fine by comrades' time.
That's great.
Do you still enjoy performing? And do you think performing for you today as a 75, 76-year-old is appreciated less or more than when you started? Or has it stayed the same?
It stayed the same. I think now it's even more, more, how can I say, calculated. It's more professional. The approach is much deeper and more intense because you dare not lose the momentum. One dare not lose the momentum because it's what people would expect to see, to hear, and say, hey, let's see what is able. Recently I went to Cape Town and the response from the audience was just overwhelming. Yeah.
That must be special to you, seeing that response from the audience in so many years, because that has remained consistent.
Yeah.
And I wonder how you've managed to do that, because, let's be real, it's not every artist who's able to ensure the same longevity that you have somehow managed. There's some artists who have not been able to get here where they can still go perform in front of an audience that still sings along to their music, dances along, responds, and still wants to see them live. How do you think you've managed to just keep going for so long and remain consistent?
Well, I've always believed that, consistency can only come out of commitment. I have nothing else to do. I can't be a doctor. I can't go back and say I'm going to study law, and as long as the energy is still there for me, it's important to keep up with what the audience expects from me. So I commit to what I do. I work as hard. Sometimes people ask, you still practice? I remember this guy came to me. He said, when I said to him, I'm going to practice.
It's a practice. What, they think you just get on stage?
He looks at me and says, you still practice? I said, there's nothing. I don't, there's still more that I have to learn and continuously practice. And I find myself practice. And I don't practice as much as I should, basically. But I try with, wherever time permits to practice. It's like a workout. It's like exactly what you when you prepare for the marathon. You have to go back there. Someone cannot say to you, "Are you still do you still run these short distance?"
You must
so
still
rehearsal
do it.
practice is it keeps you in check.
How did you do you remember how you fell in love with music though? Because growing up in Orlando West, I remember reading somewhere that your father was running a small corner shop selling household supplies, including coal. For many people, they would think, "Oh, I take over the interests of my father, and then I go into business as well." But you fell in love with music. At what stage was that? Do you remember?
To be honest, when you grow up in a society that's encumbered by music all the time,
Yeah.
you can't just escape. Not that it influences how one relates to music, but becoming a musician for me was more really by default. It's something that I've always loved, but never did I imagine that it's something that's going to be part of my life, as a career and so on. And as I said, by default, and also it was fate, because the people that I started this thing with were just as much interested in what I would become. I mean, Selby, my friend, may his soul rest in peace, Alec Khawdi, Monty, and Arthur. We were all high school guys. We just wanted to have fun at high school. And what was very interesting about this, like I'm saying, it's fate. Selby and Alec and Arthur came from Madibane High in Diepkloof. Well, it was not a high school, it was a secondary school. What's very interesting about it is that, there was Orlando High between where I was and Madibane. And if they had to do matric, they would have ended up at Orlando High, which was much closer to Diepkloof. But for some strange reason, they ended up at Orlando West High. And that's where everything started. And I always tell people that this was just fate. There was never really any intention on our part to become the musicians that we became. Because all of us went to high school because we wanted to be educated. We were more interested in academia, but unfortunately, or fortunately, this is where we ended up.
But would you say the same, though, about like the commitment to resisting the oppression of apartheid? Because growing up in Soweto during that time, that's another thing that you couldn't easily just escape or look the other way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes we underestimate the power of education. It's a very thin line. And I must say that the privilege that we have to be high school students enabled us to interact, to engage in political discourse. We were able to understand the dynamics of what apartheid did. So in a way, it also educated us to be able to navigate the challenges that apartheid was imposing on us. And we knew it very well. I mean, I'll give you an example, for instance, something that we always laughed about. We would play in a club in town, and we were not allowed to mingle with white people, but white people loved our music, but we were not allowed to interact. So we would go and dress up in the kitchen. As we dress up in the kitchen, we go and play. But once the performances ended, we had to allow white people to leave completely before we could go. So those were some of the things that happened during apartheid. I mean, you come out there, it's 2:00, it's very dark, and suddenly here's a police van comes through. What are you guys doing here? No, we just had that performance. And there was this young boy, white boy. He looks at us for about 5 minutes without saying anything. It's almost like he was so despicable. And he says, a band in a white suburb, and he says to us, fuck julle, the may julle lyk net soos orangutans. But we laughed about it because we understood where his weaknesses were, and we were cool with it. And every time so these were some of the things that we were experiencing.
It's interesting. Okay, we're gonna play some of the songs now. And by the way, I'm told that I said 50 decades instead of 5 decades. 50 decades. No, guys, I meant 5. It's over 50 years.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we've asked you to send us some of your favorite songs. And I remember when I got the list yesterday, I was like, and then where's his music? This guy's playing games. And then I was like, I'm gonna add some of his songs on this list.
Oh, wow.
And I'm gonna start with, of course, a big favorite. Burnout.
Lizuka, kulung kulung lizuka, aye, ay, yeah,
Wow.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Wow, it's so lovely to hear from Ike, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Peter Tare now, who's calling us from Katlehong. Bra Peter, good morning.
Morning, how are you, sir?
Sharp. Go ahead.
Hey, Malone.
Sensei.
You know that, oh, sir, that legend next to you there. Oh, man. What's working, Brasipoiza? Man, I still thank you. God has spared you, my brother, and I wish you many, many more years.
Thank you, Sensei.
And the youngsters must follow on your footsteps, my brother.
Had it not been for your karate lessons, I wouldn't be here.
There is it, my brother. But I know you're training. I know it. I know. We are coming a long way with you.
Yeah.
So I wish you all the best, my brother. There's nothing I can say. God must bless you all the way. Clement, thank you, my brother. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, my brother.
Thanks for the call, Bra Peter Tare, calling us there from Katlehong. I'm interested in what you think of the music industry of late, because there's a distinct thing about artists who came up during the 80s and artists that we have today. I mean, I'm not taking away from their talent, but it almost feels like there's not sufficient commitment to the struggles the world or this country is facing, and there's no interest in also reflecting on whether it's the injustices, whether it's even, for instance, the tensions amongst ourselves as Africans. I'm not seeing a lot of artists sing a lot about that or write a lot about that. What's your observation? Do you find that there's still a commitment today with the artists?
Sometimes they say don't throw mud where it's not going to stick. Sadly, including many of my colleagues now, that level of commitment is no longer there, and we need it even more now, more so, because when we look at what's happening around the world, we should probably be the conscious voice of society, because people listen to what music says and how music drives issues in society. But lately, we musicians are quite happy to make their royalties, and perhaps the media also is responsible, because sometimes when you play music that people are not going to relate to in terms of what is happening, media doesn't really care. Media wants to hear let's have a good time, and and that's just unfortunate. And I just wish, especially the young musicians, they have their own issues that they should be dealing with. Frans Fanon says every generation must chart its own mission and attain it. We have done things that we felt were necessary at a particular time. I mean, when we look at the Americans, that's the kind of America that I really love. We are the world. That's the America I love. The Miles Davis America. That's the America that I wish the world would continuously emulate. People like John Coltrane and so on, the Bob Dylans and so on, Paul Simon. That's the America that we should actually be looking forward to. And we had the Mary Makeba here, we had Yuma Sikela, we had Bobara Kwangwa, we had Stimela. I mean, Ray was probably one of the best songwriters one could ever end. But lately, we don't find such people.
Yeah.
I mean, Chico used to make music that, we miss you, Manelo, and sounds like those. And it was important that music become a conscious voice of society. But we don't get such musicians anymore.
Roger, you are in Fourways. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and good morning to your amazing guest. I've got a short story to tell you about your guest. Not a few years ago, a good few years ago, I was in Lenasia, Len, and with my daughter Eden, and I recognized this amazing legend. And I said, I want to introduce you to my amazing friend here, right? And your guest grabbed my child's hand and shook her hand and said, I know your dad. He's such a nice guy. And my daughter said, who is this? He said, you know what? I'm going to play you a song. And I played Burnout. Thank you so much for having an amazing impact on all of our lives.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Roger.
Mpo, you are in Protea North High.
Clement, good morning, and
Sure.
Sipho.
Thank you, Mpo.
Yeah, I just want to find out from Sipho, how did he get this name, Yogurt Hotstix? Which stick was hot during his
Maybe he was the hot stick, eh? Thank you, Mpo. Where does it come from?
I hope your mind is not wavering elsewhere.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I thought by now the media would probably know about this. I've said it so many times.
yeah.
I have. But be that as it may, I used to be a hot drummer, even if I have to say it. I used to practice. I used to play. I was fit, and I played this drum solo in one of the concerts, and it lasted for almost about 30 minutes. Now it's very seldom that you hear drummers today doing that. And all what was happening was this applause, from the audience. And one of my colleagues, Condriza Kubo, he came up and says, yo, hey, fun, hi, where she's, hey, Ushange Hotstix, and
That's how it stuck.
That's how it stuck.
Oh, man. Wow. And look at that. Many years later, here we are. We're hanging out with Sipho Hotstix Mabuse on our Hanging Out feature this morning, and I've got so many of your WhatsApps and calls coming through, and I'll come to them in a moment. Bull and Tulani, I'll start with your calls shortly. I want to play this quick song, though. MFSB,
Yes.
Clean Up the Ghetto. Why is it so special to you?
Clement, when you drive around everywhere in the townships, it doesn't matter where, dumping has become, it has become normal. And we are somewhat oblivious of the dangers of dumping and how filthy actually, the townships have become. We can live in all these fancy houses and so on, but once we have this dumping with the rodents, rats, and dogs and animals everywhere, and then you start thinking, you wake up to this, and it's almost like people don't realize the danger and the cost to the state if people get sick and children are playing into those things. So I just felt, we need to speak to our people about this. And I've spoken to the mayor about it, but I speak to the council. And there's always this nonchalant response. Yeah, but maybe we need to call the churches and the community. I said, if that's what we should do, then let's do it. Let's not speak about these things in hushed tones, because it is where we live. And I just felt I needed music as a conscious voice to actually make this statement.
Well, let's remind them.
Good morning, Clement. Good morning, Sipho. Wow, what a giant of the music industry. I just want to relate an issue from way, way back, decades, 3 or 4 decades, when Sipho released Burning. I'm not sure if it was Kippies or the Market Theatre the main theatre at the Market. It was one of the two. We were actually at the launch, at Sipho's launch. I think my sister-in-law worked for the Market Theatre those years, so we were invited and stuff like that. But what a party! I've been a fan ever since, man. What a legend of the music industry in South Africa. And big ups to the boys from Pimville, Sipho, coming home with the League Cup. with the PSL Cup.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
No,
I'm
they're
so happy that you're still
they're from
around,
Orlando,
still
man.
involved in the music industry. Great, man. That was one of the best parties I've ever attended.
Thank you.
We were dancing in the aisles, man, even on the seats. Great stuff.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Mpo here. For the sake of this conversation, Hotstix, can you please ask him if he still frequents Love More Music in Melville? And is he still helping out the youngins that want to learn how to play the sax, musical instruments, how to read music and so forth? Because I would really love to buy a sax from there and hopefully maybe get a session with him, man. Just one at least.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the previous caller as well. Yes, the market was the place, and I still think it is. It is one of those places that we should frequent. About the saxophone and the teaching, and so there's a tendency for people to believe that because we play instruments, we're teachers. Teaching is a skill. It's a skill. It's a complex skill. You need patience. Yes, you can share some of the things, the ideas, but I'd really love to say, go to Love More and buy yourself a saxophone. And when you have time, do come through. I'll show you a few things about how to play saxophone.
How to do it.
But going to study, then you must apply to go to any of the institutions that will help you beyond what I can help you with.
Bull, you're calling us from Port Shepstone in KwaZulu-Natal. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and good morning to Hotstix. Man, what a privilege and an honor to speak to Hotstix. Hope you guys are well.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Bull.
It's Hotstix.
Yes, sir.
I met you the first time in 1982. You came to Port Shepstone and performed at the Andra Hall in Marburg.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can even remember that.
Well,
What
I was
happened,
still young to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, these memories, I was still a lighty that time, probably about 14 years old.
Wow.
And you were dishing out, instead of singing Jive Soweto, you made Port Shepstone a part of the song, and eventually it was titled Jive Port Shepstone.
Yeah.
Nice one.
And we were enjoying it, and eventually you you called me up to the stage.
Oh, wow.
And I think I sang a line or two, and I gave you back the mic. And I was walking out of the stage, and eventually you got me by the shoulder, and you gave me the mic back. And I think I sang that whole song.
Oh, wow.
You must have gotten the whole crowd crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. We had our Metric 40th reunion just the end of last year, beginning of this year. And as Clement was saying, if Burnout doesn't play, there's no Joel without that song.
No. Yeah. You're playing if you don't play Burnout. Bill in Port Shepstone, KZN, thanks for your call.
Yeah.
We've got Tulani in Node. Tulani, hi.
Hi, guys. Hi,
Sure.
Hey, your beard's back, ne? And,
It is.
and
Have you seen Bra Hotstix beard, by the way? He's got the best beard. Guys, go watch on the 702 YouTube page now.
So I don't know whether you remember this, Hotstix, but when Ike said this man is humble, he's stupidly humble. And I just want to put flesh on that story.
Yeah.
We were in Lesotho. I just did a tribute speech to the late, great Morabo. And I likened him to a blue note. I think it was a speech for musicians, really, because only musicians.
Oh, wow.
Jazz boys know what a blue note is.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I just saw this bald head kneeling down in front of me. I'm wondering what's going on. And then he stands up, and it's Hotstix, and he's kneeling down to me. And I look up to him. I'm a sax player. I have a tone, but I need your chops. But for Hotstix to be kneeling down, my God. Anyway, respect, man.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Thank you so much, Tulani Norwood. Colin in Soweto.
Thank you, Tulani.
Good morning.
Morning, Clemsa.
Sure.
Yeah. Sipho.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think you should tell the guys about Clement Lapo. Where do you come from?
Clement uyazi ukuthi ngimaphi.
Does he know about the Beatles?
Yes.
He knows about the Beatles. He wouldn't be away.
Okay, then you know. Then that's nice, Sipho.
Yeah.
Sipho, it's Colin from Orlando West.
Oh, Bro Colin, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bro Colin. Yes.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
good to hear your voice. Yeah, ngiyabonga Bro Colin. From Orlando West.
Was it Orlando West?
From Orlando West.
Thank you, Bro Colin. Stephen in Dobsonville, hi.
Hi, Brasipo. It's Stephen in Dobsonville. Thank you very much, Clement, for this program.
Go ahead, Stephen. Steve Ovo, the line.
In 2020.
Okay, yeah.
We formed a group, Lockdown Jazz. We were playing jazz at our own.
Yes, I still have that.
You see that? You've got on our profile. Our profile, it's me and you.
Yeah. I'm still on there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still existing even now. I want to say thank you very much for the music that you are giving us on the group. And that group should not die.
No, absolutely, actually, yeah.
Stephen, thank you, man, in Dobsonville. Mike, quickly in Tembisa, hi.
Hi, Clem, how are you, my brother?
Shop, man.
Good, thank you. Brasipo, yes, sir. There's a song, Clement. I could hear you going around Gabo, Burnout and stuff. There's a song called Tababusiu Bafetu. Bona, ask him, Brasipo, what instrument is he playing there? What instrument is that, Brasipo?
I don't play that instrument. Late in that Tabang Mohapi was that instrument. Not any ordinary musician can play.
No.
Yeah.
This is the one, hey, Mike?
There we go. Thank you, Brasipo.
Cheers.
Enjoy your day.
Yo, playing instrument here, you said
Lesiba
Labasu.
Yeah, this is actually a special dedication to King Moshweshwe in particular. You know, yeah, Tababusiu is a very special, monument to the Basotho people.
Yeah,
and in my composing this song was just to be thankful for how Basotho were always part of who we are. Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
6 minutes before 11 o'clock. I don't want to wrap up until we also play these other, even if it's just a bit of them.
I
love talking to you more. Miriam Makeba, Soweto Blues. Why is this one special to you?
Well, we're heading towards 1970, June 16, period. And this song was composed especially for that era by Brahiu. And, I was invited to come and produce. And suddenly when I heard the lyrics, these lyrics were very close to my heart and, very informative of what transpired in 1976.
And how about Thandiso Mazwai's
my special young person, conscious musician all the time. And I couldn't just imagine this country without that young lady.
Yeah. Oh, man. Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful. And then, Miriam Makeba, Soweto Blues.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.